Hey guys, welcome to my review of Avengers: Infinity War. This is a bit late on the train. When did Infinity War come out? Probably like a month ago. I saw it like shortly after it came out. I did not wait a month to see Infinity War. I'm just bad at reviewing things on time. What? When did that come out? Did you know Avengers: Infinity War is the world's fourth highest grossing film of all time? Thank you. That's not what I wanted. I don't want a Wikipedia article listing the highest grossing films. I hate you. I just want to know when it came out. Okay, you're not going to tell me, are you? Avengers: Infinity War. April 23rd. I'm a month late. Alright, sounds about right. But I mean, I've talked about like basically every other Marvel movie, so I'll talk about this one for a little while. Really good. I don't know, I wasn't expecting all that much. I was going in, I was like excited to see them all unite, but like honestly, I've been way more interested in Black Panther. That was a movie that looked to be much more exciting to me. And Black Panther was very good. Did I review that? I might have forgotten to review that one, which sounds, again, about right. So I came in with, like, modest expectations. And I was just very impressed. I think basically you have so basically they're all fighting, they're teaming up to defeat Thanos, but it's not so simple as all the Guardians and all the Avengers and all the characters team up. It's like, I love the little groups I'm going to assume everyone's seen it and just talk about the movie in a spoiler context. There's the different teams. There's like three different groups that are each on their own individual missions that have to do with stopping Thanos, and I really like that. That's a nice. It keeps the story moving. So you basically have three plot lines going on at once that never really intersect, but it makes the movie. It gives each character a chance to like be important, and it makes the movie feel. It makes the movie feel shorter than it actually is in a good way. That sounds like a bad thing, but no. What I mean is it's like 2.5 hours long, but it doesn't feel 2.5 hours long. Oh, that's a slog. It's not like Star Wars: The Last Jedi where there are 3 plot lines and only one of them is good. Every plot line is really expertly well done. There's one that is Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. They are good. They have to go. They follow Thanos' little minions come steal the Time Stone. Is that the one Doctor Strange has? The green one. The green one. They steal the green one from Doctor Strange, and kidnap Doctor Strange along with him because he has it like locked up in his little necklace thing. So then Iron Man and Spider-Man follow along. And somehow they come across with Nebula after she escapes from Thanos' lair where he's been torturing her or whatever. So there's their plot line, and that eventually leads into a fight with Thanos. And then there's another plot line, which is Thor. The Thor stuff, the movie opens really cool. You've got this, like you hear Thor calling out, like, distress call, and then it shows his, like, Asgardian fleet ship, and it's just destroyed and everybody's knocked down. You see Thanos lumbering around with his gauntlet. He picks up this body of this guy that's like barely alive and drags him and then turns him around, and boom, this tiny guy that he's manhandling is Thor. And that immediately sets the stage for Thanos as being like, oh, he's pretty threatening. I'm pretty sure I gasped out loud in the movie theater because I'm like, whoa, Thor looks that puny and weak next to Thanos, and then Thanos proceeds to kill 2 characters in that scene. One of them has been frequently thrown around as a baiting spoiler on the internet, even though it happens in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I'm not going to say it, but I think we all know. I think we all know who it is. It's someone who can't be revived again. No resurrections this time, Thanos says before he leaves, and then Thor is just like defeated. And so he ends up running. The Guardians of the Galaxy hear his distress call and show up to help him. And then I don't remember exactly what happens after that. They split up, I think. Right? Oh, yeah, they split up. Rocket, no, not Rocket. Wait, who? Yeah, Rocket and Groot go with Thor to forge this mighty weapon that Thor can use to defeat Thanos, since his hammer's broken from Ragnarok. If there's any Marvel movie you need to see before this movie, it's Ragnarok, because otherwise nothing about Thor's plotline is going to make any sense. So they have to go forge this weapon, and that's the most boring plot, because it's like they basically just go there, they meet up with giant it's the Peter Dinklage playing a giant who's they just like have him like make him look a lot like a huge and then Thor makes the weapon and then goes down to Earth. But then the rest of the Guardians go and try to get the red one. I don't remember which stone is which. I just remember their colors and like how he gets the different colors. The red one, wait, is the red one? The red one's the Soul Stone though, isn't it? I don't know. The one the Collector has, the Collector from Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and then Thanos shows up and it goes all wrong. And he takes Gamora, and apparently she knows where the Soul Stone is, so he goes with her to the Soul Stone. And that's why I think the movie gets really interesting, because I know Thanos and Gamora have this weird father-daughter dynamic, but I never really cared about it until this movie, because they do a good job of humanizing Thanos. I've seen a lot of things online that say, people saying Thanos is the kind of the protagonist of Infinity War, and in a sense that's true. He sets out to get the stones and do his thing with the gauntlet, and he achieves that. He has to make sacrifices. In his mind, he is the protagonist of the story. And that's part of what I think makes the setup work so well, is you've got him versus all these other people. And they all fight him in different ways. But then that's where I was really interested, because, like, he has to sacrifice Gamora to get the Soul Stone, and so, like, he has to sacrifice something he loves, and you think, oh, there's nothing he loves. And then you see the look on his face when the guardian of the Soul Stone tells him that he needs to sacrifice something. You see the look on his face, and you realize, oh, crap, he actually does care about Gamora in his own twisted, messed up way. And so then she's like, ha, and she's like, ha, we've won. And Gamora's like, we've won. You don't care about anybody. And then, so my friend was sitting next to me, was like, he doesn't care about anybody. He's lost. And I'm like, look at his face right now. He clearly cares about someone. And then Gamora dies. We'll see if she stays dead after the next movie. I don't know. Was always kind of the least entertaining Guardian of the Galaxy, so they could continue making those movies without her if she was gonna stay dead. I don't know. And so there's that plot line, and then it's after that he goes and fights Iron Man and the rest of the Guardians, who have kind of ran into Iron Man's group, and they almost win, but then Peter Quill does something stupid. He kind of freaks out when he finds out that Thanos killed Gamora, and it kind of like messes them all up, which I've seen people criticize, but it's consistent with his character. I mean, you see the way he reacts in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well, when Ego reveals what he did to another person Star-Lord held closely. and he just like goes off on him. So I think it's consistent with the character and also makes sense. There is a sort of there's a nice arc for Peter in this movie. There's actually several like characters, like Iron Man kind of has an arc, Thor kind of has an arc. A lot of the characters have Vision and Scarlet Witch have a very small arc. There's actually several, and that's what I think is impressive, is how they can balance all of these character arcs and make them fit around this, sort of 3-act structure between 3 separate storylines, switching between each one and like juggling it all to make it all work. So I gotta commend the Russo brothers for doing that. And then of course there's the third plotline, which involves the rest of the group going to Wakanda to try to take the Mind Stone or whatever, the yellow one, out of Vision's head so that he doesn't have to die. But it doesn't work because Thanos is too good. And so there's a big Wakanda battle, and that's what you see in all the trailers. You've got Hulk battling and the Hulk Buster, Captain America, Black Widow, War Machine, all these dudes. Rocket and Groot end up there as well after Thor makes his weapon. And then Thor just jumps down and like slams his axe into Thanos' chest when Thanos has all the stones. And then the big moment, spoiler alert. I mean, I've already said a lot of spoilers. Everybody's seen this. I read it off of the Wikipedia here. It was the fourth highest grossing movie of all time. You should have aimed for the head, Thanos says. And then he snaps. And then boom. People start fading. I don't feel so good, as the memes say. And that is a big moment. I mean, there's sort of a mutual understanding amongst most people that those characters are probably going to come back. Not all of those deaths are going to be permanent, but it's still a big deal. Like, the fact that he just snaps and then everybody's all wiped out, it's like, that's I mean, the bad guys win. I kind of had a feeling they were going to do that kind of thing, but it doesn't diminish the shock that the way they did it, the way they executed it is perfect. You just slowly go through, see each person disappear. They put Spider-Man's at the end where he does the big I don't feel so good moment, and then it's kind of like, and then there's just sort of everyone's left in the dust, and they're all like, what the hell just happened? Did we just lose? And then that's the end of the movie. And then they go to credits, and all the cast members' names show up, and it honestly, like, watching all the cast members' names showed up, it felt like reading one of those memorial tombstones of a bunch of soldiers that have died at a graveyard. That's what it felt like. And that's pretty, like, I mean, I can't think of another movie that just, I don't think something like that can never be achieved on that level, with that level of audience, ever again in film. It's never been achieved before. I mean, 10 years build-up of movies, a huge fan base, hundreds of millions of viewers, and then that. Just wipe out half of the characters. Even if they all come back in the next movie. What I'm thinking is, because most of the characters who got wiped out were newer characters, and none of the original Avengers got wiped out, what I'm thinking is the next movie, those people who got gauntleted, who got I don't feel so good, they're coming back, but some of the old Avengers are going to take the fall in Avengers 4. Some of them are going to die, and then that'll be so there's still a bit of, like, tension there, I think. Now, if they just bring everyone back and nobody dies in the next movie, it's going to retroactively, like, cheapen the moment at the end of Infinity War. But as it stands now, that is a kind of a game-changing moment. It's a game-changing moment for the MCU, kind of a shift. But even outside of the MCU, like, just like the way it's, like, rocked the social culture. Everybody's talking about this movie. Everybody's talking about the end of this movie. I've seen people compare it to Empire Strikes Back, the big franchise movie where the bad guys win at the end, and I mean, I can see that. I've always watched them as a package because, I mean, I wasn't around when Empire Strikes Back came out, but I can see it probably how it could have had a similar cultural impact. And, you know, that's really cool. Whether or not you like the MCU or the Avengers movies or whatever, I think it's just cool that a movie can make that kind of an impact still in 2018 when there's so many movies and so many television shows and so many things going on with the internet and such. I just think that's cool. And I mean, if you haven't seen this movie yet, I don't feel like I even need to do this part because you have seen this movie. Everyone has seen this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, you probably don't care. If you haven't seen this movie and you watched all the way through this video, then you probably don't care about seeing this movie. Arrivederci!